Hello everyone, in this video I will show you how to set up MiniHPC heat pump controller. It's the device which is able to make a heat pump from your standard air conditioner Gree or SINCLAIR. So let's first check the inputs and outputs of the device. At the top we have 6 temperature inputs: T1, T2, T3, T4, T5 and T6, and flow sensor input. So the T1 is indoor temperature, T2 is the temperature of the heat exchanger, input into the heat exchanger, T3 is output from heat exchanger, T4 is output from electric heater, T5 is domestic hot water, and T6 is tube temperature of a refrigerant. At the bottom we have 5 relay outputs, one outdoor unit screw terminal, and 2 inputs. One is for flow switch and second one is thermostat. So the relay 1 is a domestic hot water electric heater. Relay 2 is electric heater of the hot water. Relay 3 is circulation pump. Relay 4 is 3-way valve for domestic hot water. R5 is 3-way valve for cooling. Okay, this one is outdoor unit connector. And now here we have a touch screen, color touch screen, divided into 3 parts. At the top we have a status bar, which is customizable. In the middle is the main part, and at the bottom are the buttons which can control the device. This is the button which is enabling heating. Okay, now we have the error because the temperature T1 is not connected. This one is to enable cooling. This is shortcut into the menu for domestic hot water. And this is the button which will take us to the configuration. The first option of configuration is heating option. On the first page of heating configuration we have 3 options which deciding how is heating enabled. The first option is always on, so always when we turn on the heating it will automatically turn on. If we choose second option, then the heating is turning on only when thermostat on S2 is turned on. Okay, and the third option is flow switch. So the heating will turn on only when there is flow. So for example, if you have existing system with electric heater which have its own pump, you can choose this option and the heat pump will enable heating when there is flow detected. If there is no flow, there is no error, but when the flow is on, the heating will start the heat pump. The controller will start heat pump. On the next page we have 3 options, and these options deciding what temperature is used to control the device. So the first options is controlled by the temperature T1, which is indoor temperature. If we want to regulate the temperature by the indoor temperature, we can choose this option and select the temperature. Let's say that we want an indoor temperature 25 degrees or 24 degrees. We can choose it here. Another option is to control the temperature by the T3 output temperature of the heat exchanger. In this case the default value is 35 degrees. So if we want to say, let's say, the output water temperature of 30 degrees, just set it here. The last option is to control the temperature by the equithermal regulation. It means that the output temperature from the heat exchanger will be regulated by the temperature of the outside. On the next page we can set up the equithermal cure. So the first option is the output temperature from the heat exchanger at -10 degrees outside. The second line is for plus 10 degrees outside, and this is offset, or you can move the cure up and down by this value. We can click this button and see how the cure looks like. So at the plus 10 degrees, it's 25 degrees, as here, but at -10, it's 30. It's not 45, excuse me, 40, but it's 30, and it's because we have this second line set at 30 degrees, which is fixed value or a maximal value of output water. So if we set it higher, let's say 40 degrees, then we can again check the curve, and we will see that -10 degrees is 40 degrees and is not going higher. The outside temperature is measured for last 24 hours, so it's average temperature of the last day. At the moment is there 0 degrees because we have no outdoor unit connected at the moment. Okay, the next page we have a timer where we have 4 times of the day, so we can adjust the times. Let's say at 6 or at 7 o'clock we want to adjust temperature and add 1 degree, and it depends on what option you choose. Let's say we have a T3 option. The second line is 40 degrees, but at 7 o'clock it will move to 41 degrees. The next page is for switching electric heater. The first option is heat pump only. It means electric heater is not switched on at all. The second option is heat pump and electric heater. And you have 3 conditions which deciding when the electric heater is turned on. So the main or the most important option is outside temperature. So if outside is -5 or lower, then electric heater will turn on when the delay is more than 2 hours since the start, and the hysteresis is lower than we set. So I will explain it on example. Let's say that we have 35 degrees which we wanna reach on the T3 output. We will turn on the heater. The outside temperature is -10 degrees, and after 2 hours since we start the heating, the output temperature will be not 35 but 32, which is 3 degrees, which is more than 2. Then electric heater will turn on. Okay, the third option is electric heater or heat pump. So when the outside temperature is below -5 degrees, heat pump will turn off and electric heater will turn on with this hysteresis 2 degrees. The last option is electric heater only. It means that the heat pump is not switching on at all, and only electric heater will work with this hysteresis. It's for example, if we have a problem with outdoor unit, or there is some error with outdoor unit and we want to have some option to heat our house, we can choose this option and the heat pump will not turn on. Okay, and the last option is circulation pump R3 delay for heating. So when the heating is turned off, the circulation pump will be working for another 60 seconds. In this case, you can customize it if you want. The next option is cooling. Again, we have 3 options. The first one is same as for heating, always on. So always when I click cooling, it will automatically turn on. The second option is turning cooling by the thermostat S2. So if we turn on cooling, then nothing will happen until S2 thermostat will turn on. And the third option is very similar, but the S2 input is inverted. So you can use it. You can use, for example, one thermostat for heating and cooling, and at the summer you choose cooling, and in the winter you choose heating, and one thermostat will do the job. Okay. Again, as for heating, here we have similar options. We can choose that we want to regulate the temperature by the indoor temperature, which is by default 25 degrees. Now it's 24 because it's same for heating and cooling. If we change it here, then it will change also here. We can choose if we want to regulate the temperature by the T3 output water from heat exchanger. So it's fixed water temperature 20 degrees. Then we have a timer here, which is similar to heating. Circulation pump delay, again similar to heating. This option is by default on, and it means that when we turn on cooling, the three-way valve R5 is turned on. So if you have, for example, ceiling cooling or fan coils, then you can choose this option. If you want to cool into the floor, you can turn it off, and the cooling will go the same way as heating. The last option is to enable Bluetooth sensor from Xiaomi, like this one. This one is with custom firmware, so the data are sending unencrypted, and MiniHPC can catch the signal. So if we want to read the values, we have to enable this option. It will take a few seconds, and now we can see that it reads the temperature and the relative humidity, and from this value is calculated dew point, which is here, and at the moment this value will be limiting for our output temperature. So if we choose, for example, 10 degrees, the limit will be not 10 but 11.2. Okay, we can adjust this dew point by setting the offset, let's say 1 degree, and we can see that now the dew point is 12.3. Okay, let's set it back, and we have one more option here, which is replace T1 and TC by Bluetooth temperature. We can see that the T1 is not connected at the moment. There is minus 40 degrees, and I don't need to connect this sensor if I have a Xiaomi Bluetooth sensor. If I turn on this option, the T1 is read from the Xiaomi sensor. Okay, it was cooling. Now domestic hot water, we can turn on or turn off this option. Then we have there two temperatures. One is switching difference and one is target temperature. So heating will try to heat the domestic hot water on 55 degrees, and when the temperature is below 35 degrees, the heating will start heat the domestic hot water. It will switch the R4 three-way valve and start the pump, so the energy will flow to the domestic hot water tank. Okay, on the next page we have timer, which is same to previous timers. Then we have anti-legionella program here, where we can choose how often should be domestic hot water heated to the higher temperature to sterilize the tank. In this case it's 65 degrees every 7 days at Saturday, and this is time at 2 a.m. Okay, on the next page and last page of domestic hot water we have domestic hot water heat pump conditions. It means when the R1 relay will be turned on and the heat pump will turn off. So if we have a temperature in the tank more than 45 degrees, or the heat pump will heat the domestic hot water for more than 1 hour and 30 minutes, or the T6 tube refrigerant temperature is more than 50 degrees, then the heat pump will turn off, the MiniHPC will turn off the R4 relay, and the R1 relay will turn on and heat the water to the target temperature. The next item is diagnostics. We can see all the data from outdoor unit. At the moment it's not displaying because I don't have outdoor unit connected to the unit, to the MiniHPC, so there are 0 values. Here we can see the MiniHPC sensors and outputs. So we have here all the 6 T1 to T6 NTC sensors, flow sensor, all the relays, and flow switch and thermostat status. Here is thermal cure, explained before. In the menu service, we can manually turn on or turn off. Oh, excuse me. Turn off the relays. Oh, here is one more thing which I didn't mention. If we click on the menu name, then you can see the QR code, which will take you to the manual page with the instructions about the actual page. This is page with energy monitor, where we can see the actual power input or power output of heat pump, and also calculated COP. On the next page we have overall heating statistics from last device reset. Here are cooling statistics, and here are domestic hot water statistics. Okay, on the next page we have calibration of all temperature sensors. For example, the temperature sensor T3 is not correct, so we can adjust the value. If we have non-standard temperature sensors, let's say they have a different resistivity or BE coefficient, you can adjust it here and it will show us the different temperature. Okay, the last button is default value, so if you click it will switch back to the default. Okay, this is for T4 to T6 sensors. This is flow sensor calibration. The default flow sensor which is used for MiniHPC is this one, and this flow sensor has a calibration value of 476 pulses for 1 liter. So if we have a different one, we can adjust this value and choose whatever we want. Okay. On the last page we can adjust input power from the outdoor unit, which can be a little bit off. For example, if we have external energy meter and which is more precise than input power from outdoor unit, we can adjust this value, so the correct values will be stored in the database. Okay, the next page is protections, and on the flow protection first page we can choose what sensor will be used, what flow sensor will be used to control the flow. By default there is flow switch S1, so if we don't have this one, we can choose this sensor, which is flow sensor, and select the flow. Let's say at the moment we have 5 liters per minute. We can set up higher value if we want, or we can have both sensors to control the flow for more protection. Unprotected start time is there especially for 3-way valves, So for example, when the R3 pump will turn on, then for 60 seconds the flow is not controlled. It's because during this time the three-way valve can move from one position to another. So if we have a faster three-way valve, we can decrease this value for more protection. On the next page we have some temperature frost protections. So if temperature T3 is lower than 10 degrees, then error will appear. So it will prevent the heat exchanger from frost. Then there is another option which will turn on R3 pump if T6 temperature is below 5 degrees. This is important especially if MiniHPC is connected to multi-split outdoor unit. In multi-split outdoor unit can happen that if one output of the multi-split is connected to the standard indoor unit and this unit is in cooling mode, then also on the second output of the outdoor unit is flowing refrigerant, and this output will slowly cool down. So to prevent frosting the heat exchanger, the MiniHPC will automatically turn on R3 pump even if device is turned off. It means if you don't have turned on cooling or heating, if it's in this state, the pump will turn on. We can simulate it. Oh, okay, maybe later. So it was protections, I think. Oh, okay. Here is one more option: anti-blocking functions. If device is, for example, in the summer and heating is not on for longer time, then the pump or three-way valve can lock if they are not used for a longer time. So you can set here that every 3 days the pump will turn on for 10 seconds, or the same for three-way valve. Every 3 days the three-way valve will turn on for 60 seconds and then turn off. Okay, the last page is overload protection. If we enable this option, then never can happen that R1 and R2 relays will be switched together. So if you have them connected to the one line, then they can overload the line and the main fuse can turn off the line. With this option on, if for example there is a request for domestic hot water heating with R1 and R2 is also turned on and heating the house because the heat pump is not able to reach the temperature, then the relay 2 will turn off for the time while the relay 1 is turned on. Okay, it was protections. Now Wi-Fi option. MiniHPC at the moment connected to my local network. We can see the status here, RSSI, IP address, and MQTT status, which is at the moment not connected. On the next page, we can turn on Wi-Fi access point of the MiniHPC. This is useful especially when you have a new device and you want to connect it to your local network. You will turn on the Wi-Fi access point, connect to SSID MiniHPC, and it will automatically take you to the page where you can set your SSID and password if the network is encrypted. Okay. On the third page, we have Web ID QR code. You can scan this QR code and it will take you to the web portal where you can assign your device to your web account. So you can see all the statistics and configure the device over the website. The last one is the page with permissions, where you can set up what the MiniHPC should do on the local network or on the web. So the first two options are enabled by default. The device is at the moment sending the data to the web every minute to the minihpc.com. And also, if I change the settings in the MiniHPC, the change will be sent to the web. If you want to configure the MiniHPC over the web or local network, we have here three options which we can choose. First one is for a local network connecting or configuration over the local network. So if you want this option, we can enable it. The second one is control over the web, so over the minihpc.com, and the third one is control over the MQTT. So if you have on your local network MQTT broker, you can enable this option and you can control the device over the MQTT. So turn it on, off, set up temperatures, and so on. Okay, it was Wi-Fi. On the screen page, we have 15 options which we can choose 3 to 5, which will be displayed in the status bar. So for example, if I wanna see in the status bar the state of the relays, I can choose this option. So if relay R3 is turned on, for example, which is circulation pump, it will, I can show you. Okay, there is something. Oh, okay, always on. And now we have a relay 2 and relay 3 turned on. Okay, I will turn it off and the screen. Okay, so at the moment the relay 3 is still turned on because there is a delay of 60 seconds. And let's say I want to see also compressor frequency, so it will show up here. More of them. For more of them is not free space, so it's I can turn it off. In the logs menu, I will see all the errors, and at the moment I have their error which showed up at the beginning of the video. Okay, in the date and time I can set up actual time, and the last page there is outdoor unit. In this page we will see some options which can configure in the outdoor unit. So for example, if we want to enable manual defrost, we can push this button. On the next page we have power limit. This function is not available in all units, especially the older units. Only new units have this option, like Gree Pular, Gree Clivia, not Pular. And the same for night mode, only Gree Clivia has this option, so you can enable night mode permanently or only during the night, for example. And in night mode, the outdoor unit will set the fan speed to lowest possible value, and also compressor speed will be decreased. And the last one is firmware option. We can download the new firmware from this menu. So for example, clicking the check new firmware. Now the firmware versions are downloaded from the server, and you can choose which firmware you wanna download. If I click now upgrade firmware, it will download the firmware from the server and upgrade the firmware in the MiniHPC. And the last page is to restore to the default values. So if I hold this button for 3 seconds, the device will be restored to the default values. So I believe that it's all. Okay, now we can try, for example, turn on the heating, but okay, let's say electric heat pump will be turned on, but at the moment it will try to connect to the outdoor unit, which is not connected, and after 40 seconds there will be error because no communication is there, so I will turn it off. The same for cooling. We can adjust the temperature of the cooling. So okay, if I set for okay, error E6 means no communication. I will try to get back to the cooling temperature. When I set 10 degrees, I will try to set up the 10 degrees, but the regulator will get back to 11 because we have dew point 11.4 degrees. Okay, so I will turn it off, and this one is shortcut to the domestic hot water temperatures. Okay, that's all. Thank you for watching.